So here we go. All right, guys, we are going to give it a whirl again. Kynse and I had a good talk, and we think we got this. So we're live. The lighting is really funny, so I don't know what's happening there. Let me know if you guys can hear us or see us, because obviously we're going to try one more time because we don't want to give up because her show is going to be so good. So Kynse, I don't know if you can hear or see me. Hopefully you can. This is what the lighting looks like. Let's see. Ooh, I am so bright right on my face. All right, that's a little better. So Bob Lee, Kynse, come on. I know you're here. Kynse's here. Let's do it. Hold on. I'm adding Kynse. I think it's maybe going to work. Let's hope. There you are. Oh, now I have to shift. Hi, Kynse. Can you hear me?
I have to shift. I can, and I'm going to put you on my...
All right, I can... Do I have to have the thing unplugged, maybe? Hold on, Kynse. Kynse, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. Okay, so this is what we had to do. You look great, Kynse. Thank you for being on. I'm going to scooch so people can see me. All right, so let us know you can hear us or see us. I obviously don't have a mic that's plugged in right now because you can't do that, Ted. So thank you. We figured it out. You're going to push back or pull this way. That's good. That's cutting me out.
Sorry. I
Got it. All right. So welcome. You look beautiful on my computer. I can't see much on this. For some reason, it's so dark. Thank you, Yvonne, for your help. Yvonne came in and tried to save the day. Which was all right. So we figured it out. I'm feeling accomplished today. I got something done. All right. So you guys can hear me. Can you hear Kynse?
Can everyone hear me? I'm watching Renee.
All right. So it's weird not having a mic, but I do like the split screen. I feel like I'm real, like I'm on CNN or Fox or some kind of news.
I know.
All right, so tell us a little bit about your story, because we haven't met in person, but I followed your story before you had the organs donated, all the stuff you were through. And I know there's a whole life before this that I'd love for you to share with the audience. But I do love your title, Don't Bury Good Organs, and we'll talk about that. So yes to both. Thanks, Bob. All right, so give us a little background on you.
Okay, so I'm 37 years old. I live in Fort Myers, Florida. I own a RE/MAX real estate franchise. I have 26 wonderful agents that work for my brokerage. I have 2 awesome administrator managers in my office, a 9-year-old son. I am a single mother, so, single, any of those guys out there.
I love it. Where are you from here? Obviously you weren't born and then said, I'm going to be a real estate broker.
No, not at all. I was born and I said, I'm going to be I'm a real estate broker with very expensive taste in shoes. Other than I make costumes for myself and I make some of my own clothing, but I don't actively pursue the fashion business. I work in real estate.
You wanted to be fashion.
I did. When I was growing up, I wanted to be a designer. And then I realized that for the amount of money you make when you're getting into the fashion industry, I couldn't pay back my student loans. So I needed something that paid.
Because that's an industry where you really have to make it big in order to make any money.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so what was the epiphany? How do you go from fashion icon, fashionista to real estate?
Well, I moved to Florida where I was visiting family, and I decided, well, real estate looks easy. So, I could.
Did you discover later that wasn't so true?
No, which is why I'm hard. But I looked at it as okay, so the largest commission you could possibly make is selling a house because that's the most expensive things that people buy. And in the meantime, you get to help people along the way. So you get to interact with people, you get to help them with the dream of homeownership, and you get to roll in money.
And that's what you do. You roll in the money, don't you?
Been good years and there's been bad years.
Of course. I mean, and how long have you been a real estate agent, broker?
I started as an assistant in the year 2000, and then I was licensed in 2003, and I opened my brokerage in 2014.
And what's the difference in your opinion, or from your experience, from the market as it was in 2000 to the market as it is in 2018?
You know what? It's very similar. But we're now back into the increase. So whereas between 2000 and say 2003, 2004, our market was very steady and very stable. And then we had the increase and we had the bubble. Right. Then we had the downfall and the shit. And now our market has recovered and we're seeing those increases again. They're not jumping as high as they did in the end of 2005 and 2006.
That was a crazy time.
I think it was. I sat at my desk and I wrote contracts all day long, and we would show the house once the offer got accepted.
Right.
And anybody could get a loan. My dog could have gotten a loan.
Back in 2005, I bought my house in 2005 because I had one of those. We've switched it since, but I had one of those loans. And as an independent contractor, I had to have one of those loans or I wouldn't qualify for a traditional loan.
Correct. So, and I know that those loans helped a lot of people get into houses. And I know that there are some loans and some more programs that are coming back. They're not as risky as they were back in the day.
It takes my breath away when I see them. I'm seeing them. I see people, because I'm a loan officer, I go up against some of that, and somebody's got a stated income program out there. I immediately go look at it and think, I don't even know who this company is. And we're starting to get back into some of that stuff.
Right. And I'm seeing it also. We're seeing now where there's an FHA program where you get a 90% and a 10% loan, and you can get up to your 6% closing costs. So are we back at 106% loan?
As Americans, I think, well, anybody, but Americans especially, we forget. It's like childbirth. I've never had a child. I have 3 children, but I never birthed them, obviously. But it's right. Like childbirth. Forget the pain. Literally, you forget. And so that stuff comes back in cycles. And I sort of feel like we're hitting some of those things that, that really does take my breath away. It's scary.
Yeah, and it's I wouldn't say that it's scary, but I know with the rising interest rates, people are getting placed outside of their price point. It's going to be a little scurry to buy homes that are on the lower end of the price points, and that to fall into that FHA category. And I don't have a crystal ball, and I wish I did, because I am a princess, but
me too.
But we don't know where it's going to end up, and we just we'll have to see what happens.
How is the inventory? And I want to get to the meat of the stories, so to speak. But how is your inventory down there? Are you up here? We're seeing that there's a shortage on the inventory side.
Same here, and we have a lot of new construction in process, and a lot of home buyers where that house isn't out there, so you build it. Just that's what you do. So our new construction.
We're going on the low side because so many builders have their preferred lender. But realtors still like to, thankfully, they have their relationships and they want the best for their clients. Bob, can you read the comments? Can you see them, Kynse? Something to do with your band.
Let me see if
But we're also seeing that they're tightening on their guidelines, the builders. So we're actually able to come in and do some loans that builders normally would have taken on their own.
Let's see if we can get better reception
Oh,
here. We're going to go on a walk.
Walker. She's a walker.
Yeah, we're going on a walk.
That comment, Bob.
If we can get. Let's see how we're doing here.
Now, as you're doing that, it wasn't long ago that you were in a hospital room for quite a while.
Correct. How's that for? Is that better?
Great. Keep plant yourself and let's keep. Yeah, perfect. Oh, I like it. All right. So, give us the history, because obviously you're an organ recipient. What led up to that? Because you had if I'm not mistaken, you had a double transplant.
I did. I had a kidney and a pancreas transplant on August 31st of 2017. What led up to it was I was a type 1 diabetic for 27 years, which led to kidney failure.
Wow.
So
that was, but you were sick. You were on, how long were you on the donor list, the organ donation?
It takes a while to get on the transplant list. So just over a year of kidney failure from the time I found out that I had stage 5 kidney failure to the time of my organ transplants. But 6 months of that was spent just getting on the transplant list and having the testing done to be able to just get on the transplant list.
So what's that like when you know that you're up against, we see it on all the medical shows, and I'm familiar enough with it because of Frazier. Dave Frazier is a mutual friend of ours. And I remember what he went through. But what's going through your mind when you're going through all the testing? You know you are on this limited amount of time, but it's taking so much time to get you just on the list. And then you have to find a match after that.
Yeah. So,
and you have a child.
And I have a child. I have a child. He was 8 at the time and he's 9 now. Spend as much time with your family as possible, because you never know when it could be the last day. And I was never on dialysis. So I made not to start dialysis and to wait as possible so that I wasn't hooked up to a dialysis machine for 20 hours a week, because that was 20 additional. Yeah, it was 20 hours that I could spend with my son. So I made the decision that I would rather be sick than hooked to a machine. And I was blessed enough to not have to wait an extreme amount of time to find my perfect organ match.
Which is absolutely, that's a blessing right there, because you had both at the same time. So was it from the same donor, both organs?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So my donor was a 15-year-old boy named Elijah Mayhew. And his parents made the decision to donate his organs when he passed away. He saved 6 lives,
wow.
Which his mother, which is, if you follow my Facebook, my Twitter, my Instagram, you'll see my 6 is greater than 21. On average, every day, 21 people pass away while waiting for an organ transplant. And he saved 6 lives when he passed. So 6 is greater than 21 means even though that she lost her son Eli, she saved 6 individuals instead of seeing 21 pass away.
That is did he have a wish beforehand, or had they talked about it, or was this something that she had to make a decision on? Because that, as a parent, that you're already going through this unimaginable grief. And so then you have to try to wrap your head around organ donation, which you shouldn't have to, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But you're sitting there going through the throes of all these horrible emotions, and there's there's a limited amount of time because the organs have to be preserved and gotten into the recipients.
Correct.
Yeah,
So,
I mean,
yeah, so Eli's my organ donor Eli, his sister, when she got her driver's license, yes, Katie, I'm talking about you, and I saw that you were on here earlier. So she said, no way, no one's gonna get my organs. Everything's going into the ground. So her brother comes walking out of the room and he said, when I die, take it all. You can have it all. And it's kind of a joke because, well, we say it's a joke because when Eli's mother tells the story, she puts it very bluntly and she says, he walked out of his room and he said, they can have everything except for my dick. Am I allowed to say that on your show?
you're allowed to say whatever you want on the show.
So she took those wishes and donated his organs because that was his wish. And she said that he would give the shirt off of his back to anybody. If someone was cold and he had a sweater, he'd be the first one to give them their sweater. So he was a kind teenager and a loving soul. And I think him being a part of me now has even brought more kindness and more love into my heart as well.
Love that. And so tell me, a lot of times the organ donor or their family, they remain anonymous until they don't want to be. Is that correct?
Correct. So we're not very conventional.
I've gathered that. I like it.
Right. So, I'm a little out of the box, and I would have to say Eli's family is very, very similar. And so, and I have a staff and friends that are very, very nosy. So by the time I got told when I got my call for my organs, that my donor was a male in the state of Florida and he was under the age of 18. So I'm heading to Tampa General Hospital. My friends are searching to see who fits that category, if there's anything in the news. So by the time I had even gone into surgery, my friends had already found who my donor was. Wow. And they had started following his family on Facebook. And so a few days after my surgery, when I was finally moving around, coming back to life, feeling great, they asked me if I wanted to know who my donor was. My friends and my family asked. And they had been following his family's story on Facebook. So as soon as I saw his story on Facebook, I was just a mess, bawling my eyes out, breaking down. I was, because it's very sad. You receive a gift of life, and you have to realize that that's God's plan. That from the time we were born, there was a plan, there was a purpose. My purpose was to receive his organs. And from what me and his mother now say is our purpose was to spread awareness for the importance of organ donation to the entire world. And that's where we've left. That's where we've left it, because it's, I could wake up every morning and I could have survivor's guilt and I could feel bad because someone had to pass away in order for me to live. But you have to look at the bigger picture, and you have to think that there was a reason that it happened this way, and this is the reason. So I say that the reason is for me to make everyone aware of the importance of being an organ donor.
So let's talk about that, because there are still people, there's all these crazy things that get passed around social media. You know, if you're on your deathbed, try to steal your organs, don't be an organ, and that's only if you're an organ donor. I think people also have a hard time wrapping their heads around the fact that they're dead and then somebody scraping out the insides of their bodies. Like, there's so many weird stigmas around it, but none of that's true. First of all those stories are hoaxes. Just because you're an organ donor on your driver's license or you fill out the paperwork or somebody, that doesn't mean they're going to pull the plug on you early.
Correct. The team that comes in, the people that save you are not the same people that are on the organ transplant team. So when you go into the emergency room and if you've gone into the emergency room and you are severely injured, those doctors and those nurses are going to do everything they possibly can in order to save your life. And they will keep you alive. And they will continue to keep you alive until the family has made that it's time to pull that plug. And the doctors come to the conclusion either there's so much massive injury that you can not be saved. And that's when, at that point, is when the organ procurement organization, hi Alexa, comes in, and that is when they say to the family, do you know what the wishes were? Just because your driver's license says you're an organ donor, your family can still make the decision not to donate your organs. So it's very, very important to make sure that your family knows your wishes as well. Right. So not just driver's license, but let your family know that you do want to be an organ donor. And if you want to,
why is there a stigma about that? Like, what is the thought process if you're already sadly letting go your loved one? Is it because there's a fear they're afraid you're going to have this? I can't figure out what the logic is. So do you find people saying to you, hey, this is why I don't want to do it, Kynse, and here's my rationale? Okay, so can you give me some ideas on what they say to you about that?
One of the number one things that they say is they're going to kill me in the hospital, take my organs, and save someone else's life.
Well, I can't figure that out for the life of me. But if your family knows that they're making a decision, let's say it's past that, and your family's made the decision, there's no brain activity, there's no coming back. What's the disadvantage for the family to allow it to happen to save other people? Is it just a mental block that people have? What are they thinking?
So I've talked to I talk to my organ donor's mother probably at least one text message every day. And wow. She's amazing. I had a text message from her pop up 5 minutes before the show. And wow. She videos are on my YouTube channel as well. And you might want to interview her. She would be a good one for you to interview also. So they take your body away, they rip your body apart, they pull out your organs, and you're left kind of disassembled. And
like Frankenstein. I've actually heard somebody go, I don't want to be Frankenstein. Like, I don't want to be mishmashed back together, especially if I'm having, let's say, an open casket or there's a viewing.
Right. So I look more mishmashed back together than any organ donor at an open casket would be. So one of my great friends, he owns a funeral home. When the organs are donated, they still do open casket funerals. The body is served the exact same way. If the person wants to be buried, it looks exactly the same. You can't even tell at an open casket funeral that someone has donated their organs, other than the fact that they're living on now through other people.
Correct. Well,
And
I had somebody who had, who was giving, they finally agreed to it, but they didn't want to donate eyes. And they said, because we're going to have an open casket and la la la. And I go, I know, but they finally made the decision to do it. But I think it's that they can't picture their loved one dead, let alone in their mind not looking the same when they're lying there dead. It's a very, and I get it. I'm not judging it. It
right.
seems to me such a waste when you can. They've already passed, and whatever your beliefs are, mine are that they go to heaven, that they're definitely in a different place, in a good place. So the body is not where they're at anymore. So giving of the body is such a wonderful gift.
Absolutely.
The argument that people have, it blows my mind, I think.
Yeah, I always say that heaven only needs your soul. The rest of you, you might as well give back. And I just see Bob Lee here says it's a way to keep your loved one alive in a sense. So I believe that 100%. And if we want to kind of go to that subject also, I would have to say that I like food items that I never liked before. And now I found out my organ donor had liked those foods.
I was just,
there's,
true.
Pickles and sweet tea. I can't, I never would eat before. And now give me a whole jar of pickles. I'll eat the whole thing. It is. When I came out of surgery, one of the first things that I was asking for once I could drink fluids was sweet tea. I never drank sweet tea. I was diabetic for 27 years. Yeah. And I wanted sweet tea. And I have a little photos that I took, and it was like 1 cookie, part of a cookie, 0 cookie. I'm like, the doctor goes, how come you're leaving the cookie on your plate? And how come you're leaving this on your plate? He's like, your pancreas works now. He goes, you can eat that. And I'm like, the doctor just told me to eat the damn cake. I'm going to eat the damn.
Now, let me ask you, when you woke up, did you immediately feel better? Other than a major surgery that you had, but did you notice very soon thereafter a difference?
Yeah, and I have pictures, and if you look at my face the night before I went into surgery and an hour before I was being rolled into surgery, and then you look at the picture of my face after surgery, you can see that there was just a glow to me, that I was, my body was toxic. My kidneys weren't working. My were so screwed up. My body was full of toxins because I didn't start dialysis. And as soon as I woke up, there was just a brightness to me. My kidney was working, my pancreas was working, and within moments of, they told me I had to keep my eyes open for 30 minutes before they would pull out my breathing tube. I was holding on to the sides of the bed, take it out, take it out, take it out. And I couldn't even, because I still had the breathing tube in, and it was just eyes blasted open so that they could pull it out. But yeah, so, and while we're talking about a few little crazy things, when my donor passed away and he was in the hospital, and he passed away of a head trauma, and the portion of his brain that controlled his pancreas was not working. So while he was in the hospital, being treated by the nurses and the doctors, and they treated him just like he was going to get up and walk out of that hospital the next day. But he was taking insulin shots. The doctors were giving him insulin shots because his insulin was not producing, his pancreas was not producing insulin. But as soon as they transplanted his pancreas into my body with my brain triggering it to work, it worked perfectly.
Wow. That's amazing.
Science, medicine is absolutely amazing.
So now that I mean, I saw the pictures. I watched I followed you before and during and after, and it's so dramatic and amazing that you're up and speaking. I mean, you look at you and you can't believe that you went through any of that or were dealing with any of that. What are some of the things that happen post surgery that you as an organ recipient have to deal with that we may not know?
Well, I in the past 9 days, I've been to Tampa General Hospital 4 times, and I
Wow.
live in Fort. So,
That's where I got you
yeah,
from. That's where you were. I kept saying Tampa St. Pete, Tampa St. Pete. I know you're Fort Myers. Okay.
because I
So why there? Why did you have to go?
um, so an organ transplant is not a cure; it's a treatment. So you're still on a very strict regimen of medications, doctor's appointments. You have to take great care of your body. And there are major things and there are minor things that can happen when you have a organ transplant. So my kidney and my pancreas are functioning absolutely amazing, but I have a virus right now. It's called BK virus. So everybody has BK virus. You have BK virus. Everyone in my office has BK virus, but unless you've had a kidney transplant or a bone marrow transplant, the virus lays dormant in your system. And there are times that after an organ transplant, the virus can become active in your body. If left untreated, then the virus could eventually end up attacking the kidney and causing my kidney to reject. So I'm on, we've done some medication changes over the past few weeks. What I have found out is that the local blood draw labs here in Fort Myers, they cannot get a proper lab reading. So I've been going back and forth to Tampa to get my labs. So last Friday, I was there for 1 tube of blood. This morning, I was there for 2 tubes of blood. But it's just one of those things that you obviously takes priority and you fit into your schedule and you keep moving forward. If depending on the results over the next 2 weeks, which I think my results are going to be perfect. They're going to be amazing because that's just how I feel and how I think about everything. Always looking towards the positive. And
That how you like that prior to the transplant? Has it changed you, made you more happy, made you more appreciative, lots more gratitude, or were you always one of those people?
I've always been full of happiness, with a cheerleader, and but I think it's like times 2 million. It's like
Yeah.
completely justified in every which way from everything, from supporting those around me to being more caring to anyone's situation. It has made me, I think it's made me a little, I used to get upset the littlest things, and now the little shit doesn't even matter.
About being a parent, is it more patient as a parent? Were you always a patient parent? Has that changed your outlook on parenting?
It has changed my outlook on parenting. Spend more time with your children and put your phone away. And yeah, he says a new lease on life. And I used to say that it was a new lease on life. And I don't own that shit. I don't lease it. I own it. You know, no leasing your life. You've got to own it. And I really have spending more time with those people that you love is very, very important as I'm sitting in my office because I love these people here so much. Straight from morning right into the office, and I'll be here until further notice. My son is with his dad today, and his dad works for our office also, even though we're not together. But yeah, one big happy family.
But you exude happiness, and I think that you can't fake that kind of happiness. And you've got such a special story, because we do. We take things for granted. We take life for granted. We get all caught up. You're right. We're on the phone way too much. We need to put the phone down. But you've actually been faced with your own mortality, and got the gift, got the second chance to live a full life. And it just feels like and sounds like you're doing just that.
It absolutely. And this morning on my drive back from Tampa, I think I ranted about no excuses, because I've fit in the past 9 days, probably 30 hours between doctors, hospitals, and car rides, cooked my son dinner, played outside with him, accomplished all of my business. And I have the real estate business, property management, a title company. I'm in the process of starting a 501c3 foundation, very good organs. I do promotions on organ donation. And I don't think that anyone can give me an excuse as to why they're not happy, because you can control your happiness. And why you don't have enough hours in the day, because it's just how you choose to spend those hours in the day. You can either be productive and then take time to yourself with your family, or you can scroll through your Facebook and your Instagram all day, not get shit accomplished. Off at yourself.
I love it. All right. Well, you've been a joy, a breath of fresh air. What a blessing to have you here with us, and what a blessing your donor.
Awesome.
Family gave to you, but really through you, you're giving it to other people, which is what Don't Bury Good Organs is all about. And we're going to share all of your information after we post the show. We'll share how to reach out to Kynse. But thank you so much. Thanks for putting up with the technological difficulties in the beginning. But I'm so excited to have you on the show. I think it's such an important topic. We don't talk about it enough. I'm doing a show about death and dying, and I'd love for you to pop in on that.
I will.
I'll invite you to that, because I think it's such an important part of that entire process to have the conversation. If you never have the conversation, then your loved ones don't know what you want to do. And maybe they know what you want to do, but why not have the conversation about it? Stop thinking about it as they're going to cut your body up and you're going to be Frankenstein. Think about the 6 saved 21. No, yes.
Yes.
6 saved 20.
6 is great. 21. When you pass, you actually have the opportunity to save 8 lives by donating your organs when you pass away. And there are currently 116,000 people in America waiting for an organ transplant. And on average, 21 people pass away every single day. And last year, there were only 34,000 organ transplants. So that left 75,000 people waiting on the list for an organ transplant. So it's very, very important. And it's very easy to register also. You can either go to the health app on your iPhone and register directly there, or you can go to register.org and sign up there as well. But let your friends and family know that if anything. What's that?
I was going to say, we're going to share all of that. When I post the video, Kynse's going to share. She'll put the links on when she shares the video on how you can register and how you can reach out to her and follow her story. You're a big, huge blessing. Thank you so much for being on the show. I appreciate it. It looks like you're frozen on my phone, but you're not frozen on mine.
My phone rang.
There you are. We tapped out for a second there, but thank you. You've been a blessing. We're going to share all of Kynse's contact information, share the information. We love you guys. Thanks for all the positive comments. We'll both follow up with you. Kynse, you're a joy. Thank you so much. So glad you're here with us. What a blessing. Bye, guys.
Have a great day.
You too.